In today's video, I'm going to be talking about another exciting part of Mixpanel for me that I tend to use often, and this is Mixpanel Cohorts. Mixpanel Cohorts, they are groups of users that share certain behaviors or properties or perform a similar sequence of events. Cohorts are defined as a way to help you understand users that match a particular set of properties or perform a similar sequence of events in the manner that you have defined. An example of cohorts that you can create in Mixpanel is users that are from the United States, or users that signed up in the past month, or users that are using this feature this number of times in the past number of days, or users that did not come back to the product after a certain number of times. So cohorts are users that match a particular behavior that you have defined. I enjoy using cohorts a lot because they help you to see similar groups of users. That's one. Also because cohorts can be used in reports so that you can see how that cohort has been trending over time. And I will show us examples here of what that looks like. To create your cohorts in Mixpanel, you'd go to the database looking like thing at the top right corner here, and then cohorts. Under cohorts, I would also like to point out that you can create cohorts based on users. You can create cohorts based on the groups that we talked about earlier. You can create a cohort of groups that match a certain criteria as well. But let's look at the user cohort for a start. So let's say I'm creating a cohort that I call cohort, let's say dashboard. That means that I just want to see the users that carried out a certain event view dashboard based on a particular frequency. And you can have different combinations of frequency. Here you can have that do it exactly greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, in between, depending on what you're interested in. So if I'm looking at users that did view dashboard 7 times in the past 7 days, so that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in cohorts of users that have done the view dashboard more than 7 times in the past 7 days, because maybe I'm thinking that these users must be really engaged in the product. I will create that cohort, and now I say I have 359 users in that cohort. So users who did this action at this frequency at this time, and I can create that cohort. Once I create that cohort, I can go into that cohort, edit it, and I can also view the users that match that cohort. These are all the users that have matched the cohort that I said, which is view dashboard in the past 7 days. And one may argue that why can't you use the reports to do it? The difference is, if we're looking at the report and you look at the same event view dashboard and you look at it in the past 7 days, the difference is the insight report is giving you a daily breakdown of every user that viewed the dashboard in the past 7 days. It's not telling you how many users viewed it at that frequency in the past 7 days. The frequency information is missing from here, and this is just giving you a daily breakdown. Guess what? 560 people came in December 26. Who knows? Maybe they didn't even do it up to 7 times. So there's nowhere on the insight report where you can define the frequency with which you're trying to understand the behavior of the users and see users who match that. So if you're looking at this on the insight report, you can see the users, but you can't tell that these users did it this number of times in the past 7 days. That's the difference. The other report that may come close to this in terms of frequency is the frequency report, which is on the retention. And if we're looking at view dashboard, you can't also define the frequency in the frequency report. The reverse happens. The frequency report tells you the frequency at which your users are carrying out the actions. You cannot define the frequency that you're interested in. So let me put it this way, that a frequency report helps you to understand frequency of use of an event. It's just an understanding. But if I'm interested in, well, where are the people themselves that did it up to 7 times in the past 7 days, then you create a cohort. So the first question you need to answer is, am I trying to understand the behavior of an event, or am I trying to find out the people who carried out an event? So most likely, if you're trying to understand behaviors around an event in Mixpanel, you are probably trying to use any of the 4 reports. But if you're trying to understand users that did X, you are most likely supposed to go to the cohorts. That's a good way, like a general rule of thumb, because now in the cohorts, you look at users who did X. in a certain frequency in a certain time frame. That's really what the cohort helps to understand. Another way you can use cohort, a typical use case that I love is to understand users that are dormant on a particular event. Again, think about it. I say users that are, so it means that I'm looking at the cohort. This report here looks at users who did view dashboard greater than once. At least they did view dashboard between December 1 and December 7, meaning that they did the view dashboard event, but they did not do that view dashboard in the week after, December 8 to December 14. So here I'm trying to understand, okay, these people did view dashboard. Let's say they even did it more than 7 times, but then they didn't come back the week after, meaning they did not do that event. So I use the AND logic here, which is also where the report may be lacking. In the report, you can understand and combine logic of behaviors this way, but in Mixpanel cohorts, you can layer as many logical statements that define the behavior that you're looking at and extract the users. So in this case now, I'm looking at users who did the view dashboard more than 7 times in December 1 to December 7, but they did not do it in December 8. So it might be a thing of concern for me. Let's say overall, I looked at the insight report and I looked at view dashboard just by itself, and I see that, oh, my use of view dashboard is declining. What is going on? So now I'm looking at view dashboard and I'm saying, oh, the views on view dashboard is declining gradually. What might be going on? Why? Now I'm having questions. Where are all the users that came this week and why did they not come back? That's where I will go to the cohort report and be able to say, well, I want to see the people that did it in the week that it was normal, but then who did not do it in the week that I see a decline. What happened to those people? That's the question I'll ask. So I can create a cohort called cohort dashboard decline in week of December 8th, and I save that cohort, because the next question I want to ask is, where did these users go? So if I go to my cohort, I see that this is the cohort that has been created. By the time I click on that, I see I've properly defined it, and then I can now view those users. At this point, I'm now beginning to ask questions. What happened to Wesley Baron? What happened to Wayne? I can go into their profile and see that, okay, Wesley even came back December 31st. He did a couple of things December 29th, but why did he suddenly stop viewing the dashboard? You understand? And I can start to investigate what is going on, because Wesley was a heavy user of the dashboard. Was it just that the dashboard did not load, or something was wrong with the dashboard and stuff like that? And that's where I start my investigation from. And I can even just look at it and say, are they all from the United States? If I want to add columns and see their department and see their roles, then I can start to answer and say, hey, is it everybody in product that stopped viewing the data? Those are the questions I need to start asking. So that's basically where cohort comes. Cohort helps you to get the users out that match a particular criteria, and from there you can see those users and do whatever it is that deserves an investigation with the cohort. So I find the cohort works very well in tandem with the retention report or the frequency report, because the frequency report tells you the frequency which an event is carried out over a particular period of time, but the cohort tells you the users that carry out an event at a certain frequency that you define. Whether that's realistic or not, that is up to you at a time frame. That's the dance or the handshake between cohorts and the retention reports. I know it was a lot and that is the reason why a lot of people find Mixpanel quite, I won't say overwhelming, but a little bit difficult to meander through, because there's a lot of nuance in how to read and interpret the reports and the properties and the entities that exist in Mixpanel. But the purpose of this video was just to give you a quick rundown of how you can play around with all of these entities, mix and match them in a way that helps you to answer the key questions about your product and the usage of your product that matter to you. And I say the best way to get the most out of Mixpanel is to actually play around with it, is to make mistakes. I've made a couple of mistakes in reporting as well, just because I didn't understand the nuance of some of these things. So for example, the event properties and the user properties, sometimes I was breaking down by event properties and I was assuming that was the current state of the users. Meanwhile, it was just the state of the users at the time the event was carried out. I didn't really understand how to use cohort and extract the cohort and be able to say these users match this criteria. I was always struggling to use reports to get my cohort until I found them. I'm just doing this to elaborate on some of the areas that I've made mistakes in the use of Mixpanel, and hope that as you go along your usage, you also don't make some of these mistakes and it just gives you a leg up. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.